Hello, tarot friends. Welcome back to my channel. This is Balsamic Moon Tarot, and I'm here with a general reading for today. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you come across this video, the message will be activated for you. But because this is general, feel free to, just follow your own intuition. If it resonates with you, then it's your message. But if it doesn't, feel free to skip this video or simply listen along and, take any messages that might relate to you. But again, follow your own intuition there. We're going to pull a few cards, and this will be like an energy check-in to see what is the general theme. What do the cards need to tell us today? First, we have the moon. Okay, I actually pulled this card earlier today for my own individual reading, and it brings up the theme of the influence of the tide. So there is a rising tide of influence here. There's a trend, there's a growing trend, a general trend, and an influence of, nature here. Okay, we have the moon, which is absolutely essential to life on earth. So the natural cycle is putting an influence, absolutely is influential on us, but I believe what this is showing is just how it's more on our mind, with the, obviously with all the weather chaos and the climate chaos, unprecedented weather events, the El Nino, and then now we're going into La Nina. So there's all these, undeniable events that are, showing how the natural cycle has so much power and influence over our lives. Interesting, we have happiness with these two dolphins. Wow. And we see the waves here. So I feel like there are some of us who are using this information to point ourselves in a better direction in life. So the dolphins are showing togetherness as well, perhaps, pointing direction towards better relationships or improving our relationships, solidifying our connections, strengthening our bonds, and also putting to light, right, giving so much more perspective on what it is that is essential to our happiness. So I think some of us are really taking stock of the things we own, or the things we do, the activities we do, the job we have, and just taking stock and trying to better understand what is essential to our happiness, right, versus something secondary to that. Let's go ahead and take another card from this deck before moving on. And we have love. Yeah. So again, back to those bonds, back to that connection. If you have strengthened your connection with someone, if you are in a moment of deep appreciation for a connection, this could very well be a reading for you. I'm going to keep going. Let's keep getting some more insights. So we are getting a general theme of love, especially relationship, happiness. If we're not in that relationship yet, we are definitely thinking about it. Wow, we have the rainbow. I love that. The rainbow makes me think about a full spectrum, right? There's a phrase, full spectrum love, full spectrum life. The idea that you're living life to the fullest. And also the idea that you're giving your entire being to your life, that you are expressing all the colors of your own rainbow, right? Like you are living bravely and authentically enough that you are not afraid to be yourself. And this, if you watch my previous videos, this is definitely a theme in my tarot readings, because I do believe tarot is, I think, most importantly, a tool of self-reflection, a tool that we can use to really tap into our inner selves that could have been suppressed, could have been, you know, disciplined out of us, frankly, right? Socialized out of us. Social pressures could have disciplined or coerced us to create these identities and personalities that don't really, you know, fulfill us, that aren't, it's like let's say you're a cactus and you've spent all your life not in the desert but instead in a rainforest, right? I'm just sorry, that's a silly example, but you understand what I'm saying, is that when we don't get our needs met, we wither and we deteriorate. And that can be a very slow process. That's what growing up shows us, is that not all of us grow wise with age, okay? Some of us grow bitter and resentful with age, okay? So when I'm looking at this moon, I'm thinking about, you know, natural instincts and how our own intuition can guide us towards getting those needs met, simply by understanding what those needs are, right? We have the Tower here. Oh, wow. So yeah, there's definitely passion and sexuality tied up to this, but I think there's also an awakening here that can be kind of scary for some of you, okay? So there's information coming to light, or there's a shift in your life that is reorienting things in your life, changing, you know, shifting priorities, stark differences, you know, overnight shifts that could even just change the trajectory of your life. We have bound here, okay? Wow. I think for some of us, we're also starting to recognize how our own catastrophic thinking, our own tendency to think of the worst possible outcomes, to fear change, to fear growth, how that could be keeping us in place and keeping us from finding love and happiness and keeping us from expressing the fullness of our being. How is that keeping us, restricting us from that personal journey? Okay, let's go into advice, because if you've watched this far and this reading is resonating with you, then I think you could really use some advice right now, right? Like this is not just a light and airy reading. This is good, you know, this is diving into some really deep work, deep soul work here that is being done, that you're probably, you know, focused on right now. So let's get some advice for you. We have the Queen of Wands here. Beautiful. I love this Queen of Wands. I don't know why this is almost making me I don't want to say it's making me nervous, but for a moment there, I had to take a deep breath because I was like holding my breath. Breathless. Wow. You leave someone breathless. You may not realize it, but you are someone's dream person. And if you have not found this person, this is a message that if you put yourself out there in a way that's sincere, that's brave, that's authentic, if you put out there who you truly are and express who you truly are, okay? You know, your opinions, your perspective, your interests, your style, you know, your creativity, if you express that, tap into it, get inspired and express it, and really, you know, don't hold yourself back. Like, embrace that, right? Embrace inspiration, embrace the creative process, embrace the self-expression, the process of expressing yourself stylistically and what is that word I'm trying, unapologetically, if you do that, you're going to realize that there may not even just be one, but there are many who find you absolutely irresistible, okay? Who are drawn to you, who are magnetized by you, who are allured to you, and who are also inspired by you. So, wow, this is a very strong message, especially if you've been experiencing any issues in the bedroom, and maybe you've been insecure in the bedroom, maybe you've been insecure going on dates. This is a very strong message of encouragement not to lose hope and to believe in yourself, okay? This is like somebody who's confident because they know they're inherently worthy. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to explain, sometimes people want to put you down to make themselves look better or feel better. And you have the power to identify that immediately. Okay? So it's using your intuition to identify that there are people who will reject you because they are afraid of themselves. It's not about you. They're rejecting themselves. So because they reject themselves, they reject something in you. So it's not about you being inferior or inadequate. This is their issue. And you don't have to be responsible for that, okay? Wow, that's a beautiful message. I'm so glad that, you're picking up on this because it's really needed. Yeah, look at that, the Hermit. Oh, why did this, oh, interesting. There's some moisture on this deck. Oops. We've got the Hermit here. So the Hermit is quite a different card, right? And yet what these two cards have in common is the ability to follow your own path, the ability to be like a trailblazer, okay? To go on, to understand that life is your own personal adventure and it's your own personal journey of growth and evolution. So there's a fierce independence here. And so if you're someone who has not ever experienced what that feels like, to be very confident, to know what you're worth, to assert yourself, to assert boundaries, to reject others because they don't meet your standards. If you don't relate to that, this is a piece of advice to learn how to do that. That could be an amazing lesson for you to explore. Learn how to assert your boundaries. Learn how to be clear and explicit about what you want. Learn how to tell others what you like, what you desire, what you prefer, okay? With the Hermit, we see someone who is, being guided in the dark by their lantern. So, it's saying that this journey won't be easy. Sometimes you won't have the support in the external world that you may seek. Sometimes you won't have that validation from others. But whenever that does happen, and maybe you start to doubt yourself, doubt who you are, then go even further inward to find that guiding light. Sometimes what this means is we even need to do some inner work, soul work, spiritual work, where we're not so much focused on ourselves and our ego, but really looking into our deepest values, looking into our deepest beliefs, our deepest philosophies on life, right? What is it you truly believe? You may need to dig deeper. Do you truly believe that everyone is born equal? Do you truly believe that humans are inherently worthy of decency and respect? Okay, so it's this sort of inner work where you could have an unconscious belief, that maybe a belief in the hierarchy, a social hierarchy that, you know, no one can really supersede. I mean, that's just one idea, but it's something to think about here, okay? It's also possible that it's just the people around you that keep exerting this idea that, or this dogma that you find very, you know, you find disagreeable. So you may need to be on your own for a while to really strengthen your own beliefs, your own principles, okay? So if you're around other people who have this way of making you compromise your values and your principles and your ethics, then you may need to turn away from them. You may need to cut those ties, or at least distance yourself and, you know, remove yourself from those influences. This doesn't even have to mean people in your real life. It could be, you know, being on social media, being on the internet. You know, maybe it's people you follow in your feed, or maybe it's, you know, websites or blogs that you read, celebrities you pay attention to. It could be all sorts of things, okay? But that's the general idea here. So we're going to tie up this message now. Let me go ahead and pull a couple more cards. I just want to get, you know, additional advice, clarification, or even potential outcome about this issue. Breath. Yeah, again, I said I was breathless earlier, right? So there's two things there. There's the idea that, you know, again, you can take someone's breath away. Like, you may not have any idea just how powerful you are, just how influential you are, or you can be. The impact you have on others. You may not be aware that, you know, you can leave others breathless. But the second message here is, you know, that simplicity, right? The simplicity of the breath, doing breath work, doing something that grounds you. And, you know, if you find yourself getting anxious or getting even overstimulated, you know, maybe you go down these rabbit holes where you kind of lose, you know, it's possible like you could go into a fantasy world. It could be negative or positive is what I'm saying. If you find yourself taken out of your body because of your imagination or your mind, you know, this mental stress, mental exhaustion, if you find yourself feeling mentally exhausted or depleted, or just like lack of focus, right? Lack of focus, lack of concentration, mental concentration. This is the advice here, okay? Take a deep breath. Do this a few times a day. Do this several times a day. Stop what you're doing. Maybe the phone is in your hand. Stop what you're doing. If it's now is a good time, do it now. Put the phone down or get off the computer. Go sit somewhere and just take a few deep breaths. Give yourself a few minutes of that. Make room for that in your life. In your daily life, right? In your day-to-day. Make room for that. If it's easier for you to do that when you're walking or you're running, you're doing some exercise, go for that. Do that instead, right? Maybe you haven't been exercising lately. Definitely, it's time to go back to that exercise routine. Okay, so we've got a couple more decks. I'm going to just get some advice for you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your energy to this reading. Whoa, I've got a bunch of cards that want to come out here. Too many cards. Okay, it's going to be this one. Perception. Wow, interesting. Ostrich with the head in the sand. Okay, so apparently ostriches don't actually do this. So there's a misperception about ostriches. They don't put their head in the sand. Apparently that's the case. Maybe don't take my word for it, but you know, perception here, right? Let's go back to that Hermit. And this is the Queen of Wands territory as well. So perception You know, we might be concerned with public perception of us, others' perception of us. But ultimately, what matters is your perception. Is it grounded? How do you frame things? How do you frame challenges? How do you explain difficult things? How do you, when you go through something difficult, how do you talk to yourself about it? What does it show about your perception of it? Are you extremely hard on yourself? Are you not hard on yourself enough? Are you avoidant? Are you escapist? Are you self-indulgent? You know, like, are you undisciplined in even what you are exposing yourself to? You know, maybe perception can relate again to the media diet, right? What are you putting your attention on? Is your perception being clouded by that? Is your judgment being clouded by that? But overall, this is pointing to a reality check, right? It's pointing to the need to have a bigger perception, take your head out of the sand, obviously, and have a clear perception of what's going on. Again, this can go in either direction. Maybe you are looking at things a little too optimistically, or maybe you're looking at things a little too negatively, okay? So it could be either way, but this usually points to somebody who's being avoidant and in denial about something, okay? So let that one sink in. Lastly, I'm just going to end this reading with tarot cards from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And again, I just want a little bit of advice, last pieces of advice, and, you know, maybe even a potential outcome here. Potential outcome. Okay. We have the Ten of Cups. Whoa, we have the King of Cups. Really lovely, lovely energy there. So back to relationship, right? Back to love and happiness. You are very well on the threshold. You could be on the threshold of finding this happiness in your relationship, or finding that relationship that will really fit your life, that will bring, you know, fill in those gaps in your life satisfaction. We also have the Hierophant here. Okay, interesting card. I thought about potential outcome here. So with the Hierophant, you know what? Some of you might be getting married. There may be commitment. Someone may pop a question to you. Someone may want to make it official with a ceremony, with a wedding. I'm also seeing with the Hierophant that you can possibly be on a path that gives you a chance for promotion, for greater responsibilities, as well as greater privileges. So express, you know, being aligned with your personal, your beliefs, right? Having those beliefs be a centering force for you, a guiding force. Following those deeply held beliefs and being feeling connected, okay, feeling connected in your life, feeling that emotional and spiritual fulfillment, that could really open up doors for you. So I feel like the advice here is to, you know, contemplate. Interesting with the Ten of Cups. We have the Dolphins, okay? And let me go ahead and we've got the Moon here. So there's so much about you're using your intuition, using your own powers of intuition, creativity, imagination, vision quest, okay? Going on a vision quest and asking the universe for what it is you want, putting that out there, you know, maybe write it down, maybe write it in a journal. What would make your life the best life ever? Okay, what would fill the missing pieces? If your life has is like a puzzle, right? What are those missing puzzle pieces? What are those gaps that you'd like to fill in to have the full picture? Again, we've got the rainbow here, right? And there's the rainbow. So it's like the full spectrum life, the idea that life can give you everything you would ever want for, right? Don't hold yourself back in asking for this. Ask the universe for that. You've got the King of Cups and you have the Queen of Wands here. So these are master manifestors. This is the ability to dream up something amazing, as well as the ability to bravely seek it out, to bravely go after it and not compromise until you get it. Okay, the drive, the passion, the determination is there. Life is like this adventure, and you have everything you need, you know, to succeed on this adventure. The potential outcome of the Hierophant. There are skills, there are special skills, and there's special mastery of something that is going to show up soon on your journey. There could even be a commitment, perhaps a commitment to a relationship, but there could be a commitment to a sacred path here. There could be a religious or spiritual practice that gives you that structure or that definition needed to go deeper into your faith, your practice. We've got the Hermit and the Hierophant. So definitely, you know, a lot of maturity and wisdom is going to be showing up for you. So that's the reading for today. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish you the very best on this journey. Please definitely subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel. Feel free to chime in the comments if this is something that resonated for you. And, you know, of course, like this video to help me continue this channel and give me that, you know, sometimes I only need a little boost of encouragement to get so excited about doing the next video. So I appreciate any feedback, any encouragement. But again, like, you know, stay on this journey with me. You know, like you were drawn to this video for a reason. So I'm excited to be here for you as a reader. Take care now.